Oh, damn. Should I tag Joy? Oh, wow. That's a great song.
Open your mouth. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to scoot over. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
On the top one.
That's what I'm saying.
There's so much headspace. It can't come out. My screen is sticking.
I think we can make it work. It's not perfect, but yeah, it won't go down anymore. I don't think. That's as far as it'll go.
That's good. Give me some more. 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 Cars in the big crib. Everybody say love. If you want to let me hear you say. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for you. Hot beans. Get more. What? Huh?
Called it right in there.
That's funny. You know how you call people into existence?
What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
I didn't even realize that we was on yet, Key.
Well, that's what Joy does. She just sneaks and starts, until people come in. Well, you see us, we see you too.
Hi, Joy. So of course I have one of my favorite songs playing right now because old school hip hop is like my life source. Mm-hmm. And it's funny that I say old school. Well, this is my school.
Yeah,
my school hip hop. But it's like my life source. And what's up, Uncle Jamal? And we out here in Baltimore.
Yes, she is. She's in Maryland. Came through. What's up? On the low, though.
Way on the low.
Yeah.
Way on the low.
Way on the low.
So I want to start, Kimmy. So first of all, introduce your... Wait, hold on. All right, Buster. Yeah. I love you so much. I love you, Buster. I used to love you.
Rather more.
Because right now, you kind of different.
All right, you want to start how?
I want you to introduce what's going
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Akemi Parker here with Minister Jazz, and this is episode 2.
En français.
Yes. Of Girl Talk with Akemi Parker, and I've got one of my favorite girls in the whole world, Minister Jazz, with me. Yes! It was a blessing. I asked her to make this happen, and she did in true fashion and form because she's an actualizer. You like that?
I like that.
Yeah,
manifester,
manifester. And we're here today, just having conversations on this beautiful Sunday, September 2nd, here in Ellicott City. What do you think of our city so far? The little tiny piece.
I haven't seen much of it.
What you think of my house? No, let me stop.
Your house is dope.
Yes.
Though. But like I haven't seen a lot of the city. However, it is such a difference from where I'm from because I'm like stomping pavement in BK every day.
Up north, you know?
And so just like the fact that there's a pool just chilling right here, and I didn't have to get on a bus and a train and hear a whole bunch of sirens to get to it.
The other day,
nice.
Minister Jazz sends me this text message, and she says, I'm on a balcony, and I just love new environments, and it's just like, I feel joy. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting on a balcony in a different space is very refreshing.
You know what was really refreshing is being able to alchemize any moment to find that joy, right?
Define alchemize for people that may not be clued in.
Okay.
What are you talking about? You're talking about a concept there, right?
So you know how like when the leprechaun turned destroyed to gold? That's like alchemy. So being able to take something that can be deemed as worth nothing to someone else or to something else or to whatever social construct and make it very valuable to yourself and or to others. You know, and so that skill of alchemy is a really dope one to have so that you can continuously change whatever circumstance through perspective, right? So I'm talking about perspective alchemy in the sense where, yes, to somebody else is like, oh, that's just like the rental office balcony. And I'm like, oh my God, I'll say about a pool and I enjoy it.
And the theatrics were definitely in the text message. I felt the theatrics there. But yeah, but you had an intense feeling of joy off of something as simple as just being.
Right. And I mean, and it's not very often that I have the strength to be an alchemist, right? Sometimes I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with and I can't. I just can't. Like everything seems like a cloud. You know, like the little cartoon, and it's just cloud is just walking, and the rain is just coming down on that person. Right. Sometimes that'd be me. And so, and I'm looking at everybody else like, how y'all smelling? Like life is horrible, right? Right. Like no, completely it's not. And so it's about being able to step from up underneath that cloud, even if the cloud seems like it's chasing you. Even
how are you able to do that in the midst of the cloud?
So it takes practice, right? It takes practice. First of all, is recognizing that you're in a cloud moment. Some people are so used to being rained on, right, that they've normalized that. They've normalized their situation, and so there's nothing to change. So one of the first things is realizing that, okay, I am in a cloud moment. I am feeling down. I am feeling depressed. I'm feeling anxious, whatever it is that's causing the rain to come down. And then choosing a different possibility, like dreaming past that. It's not easy. It's I'm saying it because I'm not there right now, but it's not the easiest thing to do. Right. However, if you like anything like me, you leave yourself clues, right? So people are like, yo, why you got so many tattoos? Oh, because you ain't know, these is notes to myself. Okay, right. Practical. They're practical. They're practical. These are notes to myself to remind myself that everything in life is unfolding in perfect order. Yeah. That you need to get your energy up, Jazz. Like that peace, love, respect. Like the whole world is on your side. You don't have to be alone. This one is abundance. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I have dream catchers. Like I have all of my tattoos literally are reminders to myself that there are sunshiny days.
Do you remember this? There was this movie with the lady that was in the Matrix. And I think it was called Trinity? Memento. Yeah. Memento, yes. And she would have to leave notes for herself because
you were getting it wrong.
Okay, but thank you. Okay, yeah, it was something with her memory.
No, but it was a guy. The guy
had the notes. Who was the guy?
The movie happened in backwards. I don't do that. Okay, I don't know. All right. So the movie happened backwards, right? So we were watching the movie, but we're not realizing that it's a scene from a scene. Right. And so he was leaving notes and stuff because he had a short-term memory disorder, and so he would text
that sounds
himself,
right. Yep.
Right. And so that was Memento. So yeah, right. I think I almost maybe picked it up from Memento, just being like, ooh, maybe that might work for me. Right. Because literally when going through depressive moments, I forget. Who I am, like what I've accomplished.
That's funny that you say that though, because people might not associate Minista Jazz, this phenomenal person who is currently still and being in Ellicott City, Maryland, right? But has traveled all over the world and does some really tremendous things to be associated with the term or the state of being depressed.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I've been dealing with depression since. I can remember the first time feeling really sad when I was like 13 years old. but even before then, I remember like doing what would be considered to my family or whatever weird things, like locking myself in a closet or sitting in the corner crying and telling them I feel like I'm adopted, and them not knowing how to deal with that, right? They're like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. We love you, like, you know, but not really understanding as a child. I'm saying I don't feel right. I don't feel connected. I feel withdrawn. I feel like nobody loves me, and it's internal, right? And so they're like trying to pour on. And when I tell you, like, they poured love, people poured love on me. Like, I don't lack for love from my family and friends and things like that. But it'll be an internal situation. So I remember that little things like that happening. You know, and it probably just was around the same time when I was aware of the abuse that was going on. You know what I'm saying? And then after, like, when I was 13, I remember writing my first, like, poem of, like, destruction and gloom. Right. Like Emily Dickinson type. Yeah, like, oh my goodness. And, like, one of my teachers finding it and being like, maybe we should have a meeting with your
conference setting situation, right?
Right. And, you know, and then just growing up, like, being 18, and I started having anxiety, disorder, like, just like different things. And so I've been dealing with it all my life. And my mom, who is an amazing being on the planet, and I think she's probably the only person that could have had a child and like me and dealt with it, like taught me a bunch of coping mechanisms.
And you were telling me about one of them last night. So what is it that your mom used to do for you to help you when she knew, and you said she knew that something was wrong with me, but she didn't know exactly what was wrong with me, but that there was something, and so she would do this to help me. And what was that?
So my mom would play certain songs like early in the morning to help me to get up and to get ready for school and stuff like that. She never ever called me lazy or anything like that, because it just wasn't true, right? Anybody that knows me as a whole person, they're like, no, Jazzy isn't lazy. So if Jazzy can't get up, if Jazzy's not, you know, being able to do something, my mom knew something was wrong, but she couldn't put a finger on it. Right. So she would early in the morning, she would start singing to me. She'd say, good morning.
Yes.
How do you do today, Jasmine? Good morning. Oh my goodness. Right. I'll be like, bye. But it was like the way she did it with so much love and so much endearment that I couldn't help but like smile at her, pick up my attitude a little bit, right? And so that was really supportive. Then she would play songs when I would come home from school. Beyonce's Destiny, I keep saying Beyonce, but it was Destiny's Child. Put on a happy face, the sunshine is right. I mean, just she would constantly be playing music and tunes to help me to brighten my mood. And so I learned that. So, you know, sometimes I'll tell you, as my friend, reminded me to play my playlist, right? So I have like playlists that I've created, and they're labeled certain things to help me to shift my music is so powerful. Music is so powerful, and that's why I decided to do my affirmations to music, right? Because it helps it to click for me, right? So whenever I'm feeling a kind of way, when I put on one of my affirmations and I hear like the music, I'm still the music beat is still going in my head, even though the words might not be being said. Yeah. But it's happening. Like the change is happening.
Tell everybody who may not be familiar with this particular art form that you're into, your affirmations. Describe it for us.
Okay, so it's an interesting trajectory. Even how it came about. So just recently, I found out that a friend of mine was locked down, right? And this particular person actually helped me. Like, he was one of the only people that, like, literally one of the only people that when I said, I want to do affirmations to hip-hop music, that was like, oh, that's dope, Jazz, come on, let's do it. It took me to the studio, like, right away. It just put me in front of the microphone.
Because a lot of hip-hop heads might be like, okay, what's the affirmation? And how do you that apply?
What do you mean? Sparkstar? You know right. Like, nah, nobody wanted to listen to that. And I'm like, but it's my dream. And so that was the first iteration of it. And then after I did a couple of tracks with him, I started to understand more what it was that, you know how in the beginning it's always just new, you're just getting it out there. Then I started to understand more of the formula and what I wanted to create, and I got with Camelot Records, which is out of Virginia, and they produced my first album called Metanoia. and it's a bunch of affirmations and lessons to different hip hop beats and tracks.
Right.
And so some people may be familiar with like recorded affirmations. Like you can go to YouTube and you can listen to them, and it's
like the self-help type of thing.
Yeah, that's self-help. It's like this British lady in the background, like I am, and I always felt like this is boring as hell. You know what I'm saying? I was like, my people ain't gonna be able to listen to that and really take it in, and that's how come so many people didn't know about affirmation. I feel like it's because the way that it was set up, and I was like, let me bring it over to the hip hop culture, and so that's what hypnotic hop is, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I do.
So, is there a way for people to be able to access Metanoia or your affirmations? How can they do that?
So, Metanoia is on iTunes. Metanoia is on iTunes. I believe maybe not in its entirety. You can also get it on my website, ministerjazz.com. And right now, I'm currently putting out all of my tracks on YouTube. Right. Like, I want them, like I was sharing with you, like, I want them to be out. Like, somebody else listen to this besides me and my small group of friends that have been like, is this so dope? And I'm like, I know, but I don't know why I can't, like, get it to the next level. So, so I'm currently, like, uploading and putting them out on YouTube, like, as we speak, actually. So I'm really excited about that. Hey, mommy. Miss Susie. That's Akima's mom, but that's my mom too.
Hey, mom.
Hey, and my Uncle Clyde. Hi, Uncle Clyde.
Hey, Tamika. Okay. That's Lil J, my cousin's wonderful wife.
Awesome. It is so good. But yeah, so metanoia, the word metanoia means the changing or the renewing of your mind after when you look up in the dictionary, it's talking about like a religious experience. But to me, it's one of those things where it's so deep in your life, so deep changing that you have to have a different perspective. And that's what it means to have a metanoia. And it's the changing and the renewing of your mind. I was very connected to the verse in Romans 12 and 2. Romans 2 and 12, sorry. And so, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And to me, that's what it's about for me. It's like when my mind is telling me that things aren't okay, knowing that things can be okay. Right. Stepping up from up under that cloud, using the affirmations, using the tips that I leave, the clues that I leave myself, using exercise, using that. Like, I stopped sugar. Like I was telling you. And you were talking about how much that's affected even your mood, right? Yeah, and my period. It affects a lot of things. Everything. Like, it was absolutely. Like, because at one point, you know, I don't know if I was getting older or what, but like I was starting to have PMS real bad, and I was noticing that, and even that, like I have not been having the crazy mood swings or anything like that. And I realized how addictive sugar is and how sneaky it is. It's like in everything that we eat almost. Absolutely. And so since I've like almost completely taken away sugar except for the peanut butter on the spoon, I've noticed so many different changes in my mood and my health and my, like, I've lost weight, like my knees don't hurt anymore. I was starting to get arthritis, like all this kind of stuff. And so, you know, just the combination of things. So it's just like not just the words and sitting around saying affirmations, but allowing for those affirmations to move me. Right. So I have this one affirmation track called Healthy, right? Okay. And it says, all of the decisions I make is good for me. All of the decisions I make is good for me. So then I start making good decisions for me, like taking away the sugar. Right. You know what I mean? So. I wanted to just go back to the sugar thing, or really emphasize for people, because I'm not sure if we understand, like how you mentioned, sugar is in pretty much everything. Okay, and it's funny because I was just having a conversation earlier this morning, because Jasmine will know for the last couple of days I've been drinking clamato juice, which is clam juice and tomato juice. I really love Bloody Marys, and I looked at this can and I was so excited because the store that's right up the street within walking distance has like the little, you know, soda can size, and then it's got the big juice size, right? And I'm looking at it like, yes, I'm about to be having clamato juice every day. Second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Whoa. Oh, it hurt my heart because I'm like, come on now, because high fructose corn syrup is terrible. Right. It is a form of sugar. One of the many names that it's called, which can be confusing for people that are looking at labels.
But he said, well, hey, the person I was talking to said, well, that doesn't taste sweet at all. But it tricks your senses because food manufacturers put a lot of sugar in. They put a lot of salt in. It creates a balance, so your body isn't able to distinguish, that this is.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
People associate sugar just with sweetness,
right?
And it's not
and
that.
It's not
and
that.
It's not that. And literally, the sugar it messes with our insulin level.
Which is the second thing I was about to say is like the way that sugar reacts with our body is as damaging as drugs.
Right.
Hard drugs,
right.
Heroin and meth
right.
and all that other stuff. So and again,
people self-medicate with sugar. That's why
sugar.
A lot of people will overeat during times where they're feeling anxious or depressed or things like that, because it's like, oh, okay, well, I can take this, it'll give me this little boost. Not realizing that it's directly from the food that you're getting. It's like if you were to be hitting a blunt. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Whatever. It's just that. So, yeah.
And what's really dope about it is that once you remove sugar from your diet, you may miss it or whatever, but your senses automatically become aligned to where you taste the natural sweetness of things that you would have never ever picked on. If you had been, just saturated with the sweetness that is in a lot of commonly manufactured foods. So I just wanted to highlight that because that's such an important step, and it's such a small step, and it's very controllable, right? And so while you're talking about affirmations and our inner thought and our self-care, we do have to pay a lot of attention to our physical care and have actions that are aligned to support the health, of both, right?
Totally. So another thing that I realized, and my mom, again, she supported me with understanding this, is that I'm a creator. Right? I have to create. I have to make. I call it making. Some people are like, Jazz, what you doing? I'm like, I'm here making. I'm like, what are you talking about? Making what? But I'm always in this place of making. So once upon a time, I used to make hairstyles, right?
Right.
I would make doing braids, and a lot of people know me for this. They're like on my case, like, how come you don't do hair no more? What's up with that? But I still make, and I make in different ways. And one of the things that I make, I did the graphic design for this t-shirt,
Prosperity
which
Avenue.
is amazing.
Station.
I love this one.
Yes.
I love this. And then also making of these affirmation earrings. And so people are like, how are they affirmation earrings? They don't have words on it. And what we don't understand is to affirm something just means to say yes, right? To say yes to something. And to me, this is a level of boldness and a level of creativity and a level of uniqueness and a level of I am. Right?
I wanted to ask you about that, so that's great.
I was saying, I am.
Minister Jazz showed me, I think the first night that she got here, her latest video that she's created called I Am. And I think that you said that this particular track you've been sitting with for a while, but you just compiled the vision. And what I think is so awesome is that you kind of see within the video, you see people that are struggling with the depression. You have a woman in bed and almost with the covers over top, and we've all been there. And then you are talking to yourself, recognizing, I am, this, I am that, I am power, I am beauty. And of course, she's Minister Jazz, so everything is real fly and sexy. And then you got the other, visuals from the other ladies on the flip side of that. And I think it's a really beautiful concept because, relationships, can really test our knowledge of, who and what we are.
Knowledge. That was an interesting word, knowledge, right?
Because I know who I am.
Yeah,
I know who I am. Then I got with this fly dude, and I thought he was just the best thing since sliced bread. And then, a year later, girl, I don't even know. He's telling me I'm this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This thing has happened. I wouldn't be accepting this, but I'm accepting this. I'm in this space, and I'm so close to, sometimes with relationships, especially abusive or traumatic relationships, there's a blurring of, reality in a sense, right? And you are in this thing so long with this person that's so right next to you and knows you and is telling you who that you are, what things are, and you get kind of, caught and trapped in that, right? And some of us are able to find our way out of that.
And also who you want to be for that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And some of us find our way out of it, and then some of us struggle with it, So talk about I Am, what it means, for you, how you came up with the concept.
So I want to make more flexible the I amness, right? Because you said, I know who I am.
Well, I'm talking about a specific one, but yeah, I'm listening.
You know, when you say, I know who I am, a lot of us, we have this conviction that we know who we are. And then with that, we become pretty rigid. Because once you know something, like, I know 1 + 1 = 2. You can't convince me.
Well, Terrence Howard said that, did you see that?
Well, see, but he can't convince me.
Okay. Because he said, no, 1 + 1 ain't 2.
But he can't convince me that because I know
what it is. Okay,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we come to a place where it's like, okay, I know who I am, then we become pretty rigid and we define ourselves, right? I want to be a little bit more flexible with that, only because there's always room for growth edges, and a lot of times we tend to know who we are based on the negative perceptions that we've been told all of our lives as well, right? And so some people could come into our lives, and even though it's not on the top of our conscience, but someone will come into our life and speak something that might have been spoke to us when we were little, and we'll believe it,
right?
Because it's familiar.
It sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar, right? Oh, you're lazy, or you're unorganized, or you're sloppy, or whatever it is that the person has to say. But somebody from the past might have said that, and so it's like it became like this knowing that you took on. And I feel like we get to define ourselves in every moment, right? It's like it gets like, I'm doing this because it's fluid, and people are so scared of that word now. They're like, oh, Jazz, with your progressive ass, like with this fluid shit. But but I'm serious. It's like there is a fluidity to our I amness, because we were talking about like not being segmented or whatever, or being segmented, right? And so you could be, I am this, in this certain situation. So I am strong. But however, when I was inside of my relationship, I didn't show up like that. Yeah. Right? And so it's just like, how can I take that and make those, be able to apply it in different places and different things and within relationships, as particularly what happens with relationships for me, I know, is and that's why I interjected that, is I have this strong desire to please and to make happy not just my partner but people, right? And so it shows up in a relationship as I want to make happy also my partner and be a part of their joy and happiness. And so slowly the things about myself that I feel might contradict or trigger them or whatever. It could be something as simple as the way that I love to pout my lips. And like, I don't want you to do that. Or the way I love to speak to people in the streets.
I like French manicures.
I like,
and you're a sparkly girl.
Right, and I like sparkly nails. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead, because my boo like French manicures. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start French manicure on my nails. And then I forget that a part of things that brought me joy was this. And so it happens in like little chunks, things that we're okay with compromising on and changing, but then the line gets blurred. Like you said, where does that, you're with this person every day, and you start to become like this, this unit, right? And then losing parts of what your I amness is. So a big part of I am is being able to declare for yourself who you are outside of the definitions that other people try to create, right? And choosing those things in which are empowering, and then changing what it is that you feel like you know about yourself and believing something different about yourself. Something more powerful, something that can get you the contract, right? Something that can get you that meeting, something that can get you that sale or whatever. Holding on to that part of the I am type. So I am courageous, right? And even though I feel like a chicken wing right there and I'm scared of my body, I'm like, I am courageous. I know I'm courageous. I could be that. I am that because I say so right now. Right now, I am courageous. And there's something like that when you really could take that on. There's so much power in words. So
I don't know if we tell our children enough or teach our children enough about self-talk, self-care, self-love. To really to where it's a real thing. Like we would say, don't touch something hot on the stove.
Right.
Don't cross the street without looking both ways.
Right,
It's like,
right.
talk to yourself, Bobby. Jenny, talk to yourself and care for yourself and love yourself.
Right.
I was having a conversation with my mother, and I was telling you about this. She's been having some health issues, and she was away from work, and she recently went back to work and was suffering. She had suffered like so much anxiety over whether or not or when to return to work. And, I was telling her, look at the outcome on the other side of that. You made this decision, and the anxiety that you put on yourself, you really didn't have to. You didn't have to go through that,
right.
and because what you want to do, is when you see yourself, and again, it goes back to recognition and awareness, right? You understand this is what I'm feeling, and you then start to check it, and it doesn't come overnight or just one time,
right.
but you really check it and say, listen, I know that ultimately I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Everything is going to work out. I might not know how it's going to work out, or it might not come out exactly how I want it to, but in the end, I'm going to be okay, and so I have to do something with this anxiety.
Exactly.
Talking to yourself, and then also, again, reiterating the action. Maybe instead of sitting here worrying about it, I might go take a walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I might go, do a Sudoku or call a girlfriend.
Release is release, right?
Right.
Release is release. So sometimes we can release through sweat, we release through tears,
Mm-hmm.
we release through energy, right? And so, people talk about energy, but really taking it on that when we exert energy, we're releasing, right? So exercise, that's why exercise is so dope. Mm-hmm. It's like our built-in release system to be able to let out some shit, you know?
Right.
So walking, running, all of these things, it's all physiological, and mm-hmm. it helps us to get our mind right.
Right.
It's, I think it's really important to just highlight, to talk about anxiety really quickly,
mm-hmm.
right?
Big smile on the face when we talk about anxiety.
Ooh, I can smile talking about anxiety. Why? Because I had a really interesting anxiety attack in 2017 to the point where I had I had a tick. Like it was like my nerves wouldn't relax, and so I kept I had muscle spasms.
Right.
That's how hard it was, and it was like from build up from everything. I was working in with a special needs population. My students were. Mm-hmm. I was in this relationship where I didn't feel safe in the relationship. It was finances, and then my baby was leaving and living in another country and about to go in the military. There was just so many different elements and pieces that I didn't even realize that I was processing all of these things or not processing all of these things, and they were manifesting within my body
on a cellular level.
On a cellular level, where I thought every day I'm waking up and I'm doing fine, and I'm still but then it was just one thing, one thing, and it triggered, and it was just I lost my breath. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't find my breath. The ambulance had to be called. When the ambulance got there, they was just ma'am, you're gonna die if we can't control. They had to take me to the hospital. I had to be hospitalized so that I can regulate, and so it could be really, 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 really serious. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, it's about self-care and breathing. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that's so important to me when we talk about walking and release and everything like that. The best release that you can do in any moment is if you're alive, you're breathing, right? So it's just taking that in and
Can I ask you, is there a right way, wrong way, good way, bad way to breathe? For example, for a lot of us, we may say, okay, well, I breathe all the time, every day. I don't even have to think about it. Right?
That's the problem.
Okay, so tell us,
that would be it.
What is a great way for us to start? Show me, how do I begin to use breath?
So, and every case is different. I'm one of these very liberal people, right? I'm not going to say this is the way because this is the way that works for me. This is a way that has worked for somebody, and I would like to show you, right? So it's all about mindfulness. Right? And so you can't be breathing and just I don't have to think about it, because if you're not thinking about it, then you're not being mindful of the breath. One of the techniques is taking in on a count of 6 and letting out on a count of 8.
Okay, so.
Okay. Sure. Let's do it. So we got the reggae music playing in the background. Okay.
Oh, they knew you was coming. They knew you were coming.
Preparing, right? So, you know, I like to just really get comfortable with myself and do open body pose. So put both feet on the floor. Find comfort in your seat. Find your stillness.
And should my eyes be closed?
There's no should, right?
Doesn't matter.
So some people like to just let their eyelids relax, don't put any pull or push on the eyelids, right? So if you feeling like you have to go like this to close them, then you're putting too much pressure.
Okay.
If you feel like you have to go like this to keep moving, so just let them relax, and you can find your stillness like that, and just find your place where you're feeling still, and just breathe regularly how you've been breathing. And then when you're ready, go ahead and take a deep breath in, and we'll count to 6. And then when we get to 6, I'm going to hold it for 2, and then we'll release for 8. Ready? Okay. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. So stop already.
Because I'm holding.
Right, you're holding.
Because I thought
that's how slowly I want you to take the breath in.
Well, then we'll have to work on that. Okay,
exactly.
So let's do it again. Let's start again.
So you're going to take the breath in on a count of 6. So let me show you, right? So it'll be like this.
That's going to require some practice, folks. Yes, it is, indeed.
But, oh my God, did you feel calm looking at me?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems calming. And when I attempted the breath, it's just like...
Right, because we're probably used to taking shallow breaths, right?
But our world is so...
So, and that is that point where you're becoming mindful, where you can count how long it takes you to take in that breath. Right? So let's try it again.
Okay.
Let's do a 3 first. Okay, and we'll let out 5.
Okay.
Right? So take it in slowly.
Right.
Breathe in on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2. Let out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let all the air out. And then come again. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, release. Yeah, you wanna
go through your mouth.
But only because it lets out more of the carbon dioxide, right? More. Once you get your breathing regulated, then you can start adding the words and affirmations. You can start breathing in whatever it is that you want to be in your body, whatever good feeling thoughts, whether it be your children, whether it be your family, whether it be that barbecue chicken, whatever it is.
Talking my language.
Whatever it is, and then you can let that out. You know what I mean? And let out whatever it is that you don't want to be there. And and it's a practice, and you can slow down, and it really relieves a lot of the anxiety and tension. One of the issues that I was dealing with was that I was living with someone that didn't believe in shit. You know what I'm saying? And I felt embarrassed that I practiced prayer, that I practiced meditation, that I practiced yoga and stuff like that. There was no reason for me to. It was self-imposed, right? No one said, "Oh, that's dumb." But like I took that on, right? Yeah. I took that on, and so where I would have normally been able to like just go and I would be doing my yoga practice and things like that, I had stopped. And so it all caught up with me. So of course, after like my healing, I was like, okay, I gotta get back on my stuff. So definitely like yoga, running. Walking. I live in the city, so I get the pleasure of walking a ton. I'm saying pleasure, Right. It would be nice to just jump in my car and go to like walk. But I get the pleasure of walking and up and down the stairs in the subway, and even sometimes like I'll be on the train platform and it's like it says a certain time before the train gets there, and so I'll use that time right there to practice my breathing. Yeah. Like I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not doing anything. Like if my music is loud or whatever on my headphones, like I'll just turn it down, or I'll put on some affirmations. Nobody has to know, and I'll be just doing my affirmations on the platform. So
you take advantage and you do things as you can,
and those of you guys that drive all the time, you put on your audio tapes or whatever. I say tapes. I love when I say tapes
because that's so old school.
Oh, like I don't know what.
Yeah, you old school, honey. Yes, baby.
But Yeah, like you put in your audio, play, your audio sounds, whatever. You download your Audible, or even on YouTube, you can listen to stuff. They have tons and tons of books like that, or affirmations and stuff like that for free.
Right.
Subscribe to Minista Jazz, and you'll be able to listen to those affirmations in your car.
Well, let me ask you, do you have any recommendations for people as to how they might, deal with a situation like this? Like you said that the person that you were with didn't believe in that type of thing. Okay, so you felt embarrassed, and that stopped you from doing those type of things, which thereby, impacted your health, right? If I can't break up with my mama, you know what I'm saying, and she don't be feeling that stuff I'm talking about, and it makes me feel a certain kind of way, I'm sure affirmations can help me to build up the strength to, fortify myself to where that doesn't matter. But do you have any, recommendations for how people might deal with the disbelievers, maybe, or maybe not even just deal with the disbelievers, but with themselves?
Well, let me tell you what it is, right? So within that relationship, and even maybe with the relationship between a mother and daughter, whatever, there's this sense of, I want you to believe in me. Right. I want you to admire me. I want you to like me. I want you to, we're in a relationship. I know you love me, but I want you to like me.
Yeah.
I want you to think that the things that I do are inspiring. And so it's almost letting go of that. Letting go of the need for that person to give you that level of validation. Right? And being able to find that either one within yourself, which is easier said than done.
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with people that do validate you in that way, and that that's where community is so important. It's not just about being around Black people, right? So the Black community, that to me doesn't make sense,
right?
Because there's a ton of people that I could be around that have a similar skin color to me that do not understand or believe as I do, right? So it's about finding the community that will support your core values and help you to reinforce that within yourself.
Right.
We live in such a spread out society. You know what I'm saying? The people that are closest to me are miles and miles away.
It's no longer like that village type of setup.
Right. And so even though we have social media and internet, it's it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's really not the same. And so it's about being able to find your peoples and spending intentional time with people that do validate and reinforce your belief system, and that you can continuously learn. Being open to what their understanding might be, not making them wrong for their understanding, not being judgmental, for them, and being compassionate of everything in their life up until this moment taught them to believe as they do, and the same for you. So as you can have compassion for yourself, you can have compassion for them, understanding they might not be able to show you that same amount of compassion, and that being okay too. Right. I can love you, but I don't have to be in your face.
Right.
I can love you. I don't have to have these conversations about this kind of stuff, and having the pre-conversation that looks like this. I'm going to talk to you about something that you might not agree with, but what I need from you is just to listen to me for a second. Because I really need to get this off my chest. And I know that you can listen to me because we love each other. Right? And then they'll be like, yes. And they're like, okay, good. So just no, I don't need any. I just really need somebody to listen. Because a lot of times we're not even sure what we're asking of the other person. And it might just be, I just need you to listen. I just need to
and
talk.
And some people, once you start talking, they're automatically prepared to come up with an answer. Right, exactly. When I started culinary school, and we were talking about this the other night, I had some very, very close people in my life that were not supportive of that idea. And, culinary school is not one thing that you do when you go one day or a week and then that's it. It was like a real undertaking and investment on several fronts that I had to, prepare myself and my family for, that, I was going to do this. And I felt like I needed that support. Now, however, I got a little nugget, mustard seed, what I call, inside of me, that even though that felt bad, and I might not have had as much compassion as Minista Jazz says that I'm supposed to have, towards that other person, because I was really pissed off, and I'm like, you are my such and such and such and such, and you're supposed to be there. What I'm saying?
When we suppose somebody, that's when they could disappoint us.
But despite him or her supposed to be XYZ, I still went and made it happen because that's what I wanted and needed to do. And so despite, other people's lack of vision, despite the lack of aid or support, like I didn't know how I was going to get, to culinary school every day.
Right.
And some of the people who were unsupportive still at the end of the day provided me their support by getting me to where I needed to do when they were able to do so and if I needed it. You get what I'm saying? So again, as I was, telling my mother, as I tell myself, as I tell so many other people, like shit, everything is really going to work out. Trust me. In perfect order and in perfect timing, right? So, talking yourself through it is really super important.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best gift that I have ever given myself has been compassion. And so, like, you joke about being as compassionate as me, whatever, but, like, literally, I feel like, and compassion is the strong desire to end the suffering of others and yourself. Mm-hmm. And so, as I have a strong desire to end my own suffering and the different things that I've dealt with, and, traumatic experience that I've gone through over the years, that level of mindful compassion has helped me to navigate really tough terrain, right? And to always be able to return to love, right? And to come back to myself with love and understanding. And I can sit there and look at the work that I've done and be like, oh, that is, like, I remember her.
Right.
I know that version. I know that girl. Thank you. You know what I mean? And have compassion for what happened. Like, okay, I got into this relationship and I lost my mind. Okay. But now I'm back. And that takes compassion. Some people, they feel like they messed up and then it's just like throw in the blanket. No more. I can't do anything. Nothing else, can ever work again.
Right.
And so it's about knowing that I'm human.
And it's okay.
I'm so human. And it is so okay.
Right.
It is so okay. And this is my experience. And I don't know how my experience might be affecting, blessing, impacting, empowering, inspiring, motivating, disempowering.
I'm looking at America because I was saying something similar to Minister the other day about, the butterfly effect. And, because I think the question was, I don't even know what the question was, so I'm not even going to, but, we can impact and affect other people and we don't even maybe know it.
Right.
And, see our reach. Yeah. And it's part of the power and the beauty that is this intertwined existence that we have called life, right?
Yeah, we're so interconnected. And I feel like that's one of the most beautiful aspects of being human is the fact that we're interconnected. And so I wrote on my thing that I've known Akemi since we were 12 years old. Like, she reminded me, her and my friend Janine were watching Minista Society. When I came over, I just aged this real good. But, we were watching Minista Society and I came over and I'm just like, that's the first time I remember Akemi, but she remembers me before that.
I met, my first memory of Jasmine was, I had just done this play in school and I was sitting on the bus and she comes up to me and she says, I saw you in that play. Yeah, you did a good job. But I could have did it better. And I'm like, who the hell? Yeah,
I'm like, what kind of?
Before tried it was a term, like she had tried it. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta love her. And it's funny because I don't want to say that we're competitive with one another at all. I don't want to say that because that's not what it is. But like, I recently was kind of made aware that you're a Scorpio, right? Because you know things, but sometimes for me, the dots have to be specifically connected, right? And so I realized that my parents, they're both Scorpios, and my relationship with Jazz is very similar in that, we're very close. I'm very close to my mother, very close to my father, but it ain't going to be all smooth and easy. It's going to be some pushback up in there,
But what's really interesting, Kimi, is my mother is your sign.
Right.
I believe her birthday is the day before
a day
yours.
Before mine.
And so, we're just connected to certain people, interconnection. We're connected to certain people for a certain reason, and some people longer than others. And our relationship just happened to span many, many, many years. Like over this weekend, you've been telling me about events that I've been there for you and with you, and I don't even remember.
And like, that's my role right there. I'm the one with the memory problem.
I'm like, girl, because you was my friend. Like,
yeah, you know,
like I'm supposed to be there. Like that's normal. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate getting the time to do this with you. I'm so proud of you with doing the girl talk. You look fly in these earrings. Like these whole
you had something to do with
these
that, girl.
Earrings are like a whole entire outfit unto themselves. Guys, please check out these earrings. You'll see them on my my Instagram, my IG, the Minista Jazz, and also on my Facebook page and stuff like that. They're really from my heart with love. Every time I make one, I fall deeply in love with it, and and it feels so good to. And
she's been mailing them out to her customers while she's been with me, and I just love to see it. I mean, because again, you're such an artist. I mean, when I think about you, I can think of so many. Like, do you remember when we went and there was some club that we were going to that had a costume? Was it Halloween? We were. Oh my god. We were like the. We were still like Iraqi, like soldiers, because like the Iraq war was going on, and so we were soldiers dancing to Aaliyah, Rock the Boat, and Jasmine. Not only does she go and find us outfits and cut them up and sparkle them out, but then this girl got the choreography. And she just pulling me along, and that's not my forte, but I'm down for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love her. It's always interesting. But you're so artistic. And I just love to, you know, sit in your presence and soak it up, you know.
Art is the way. It's so interesting because I don't know if other artists have an experience like this. When I tell you like 2 weeks ago, I told my sister Janine, I think I'm an artist. She's like, bitch, what you talking about? Like, you being an artist? Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I think I'm an artist.
Yeah, I've accepted it. Yeah,
it hit me, and I feel like when I'm not making or creating, I don't feel alive. Like I don't feel life. You know what I mean? And it helps me to feel alive and to just look at you and see like something that was in my brain, like it's actually manifested on the outside and someone's enjoying it and it's bringing pleasure to them, makes me feel like I have a purpose in life. So that's my validation, right? And so if you don't buy my shit, I don't gonna feel alive. Her self-esteem gonna I'm gonna need y'all to hook me out, and you know, so I gotta keep me going.
Right. But anyway, yes, please do hit her up, the Minista Jazz on IG and Minista Jazz at Facebook. Yep. On Facebook. Yep. Okay. Minista Jazz.
MINISTA. I'm also, you can find those affirmations on YouTube. And yo, I didn't even tell you, like somebody hit me up out of the blue random about this soulmate affirmation track that I had created. And it just blessed my heart. She was just like, Minista Jazz, I don't know you, but I found your affirmation track and I've been listening to it every night for a year. And over the last year, I've manifested my husband and we're about to have a baby. And I was like, I'm out here making babies. Oh my goodness. Like,
you are like Luther Vandross. To her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was like, tell me whatever you do and I would have support. No, it really was. Yeah. It was a blessing to hear. And, you know, just to, like you said, we don't know who, you know, we're doing it for or with or whatever. And I'm just really appreciative. So make sure that you check out these affirmation tracks. Give me your feedback. I want to do more. Let me know what it is that you need to affirm in your life. You can get your affirmation earrings. We'll have our t-shirts coming out.
You said you were telling me about a little line you about to do.
I'm so excited. So like things are rolling. Things are rolling, and you know you got to catch me in my season because you know I'll never know when the cloud gonna come and all of it just be gone. We'll be like.
Right. And as for me, you can definitely check me out at Chef Akemi Parker on Facebook and Chef Akemi on Instagram, AkemiParker.com, AkemiParker. Yay, turn up on a Sunday. Anyway, thanks for joining us and hugs and kisses.
I love you, Mama.
Love you too. Yes, baby. All right, bye guys.
Peace, y'all.